beginning part of the call is very important. Like, there's so much to do with this call, which was like every reason why it closed. Like, the objection plan was pretty strong. I basically had to just pressure him into doing it at the end, saying, look, I'm just going to send you a link. We're going to do this together, okay? Which obviously I'm not going to encourage people to do that all the time. You want to get it to come from them to avoid like refunds, disputes, or anything like that. People might just say that feeling pressured. Sometimes a guy like this, you just got to say, look, I'm going to send you a link. We're going to do this together, all right? And you're going to change your life. So he did that. But the very important bit is beginning part of the call. So I want to highlight this part. I know a lot of people, and me being one in the past, if I heard something, what he says at the beginning of this call, I would have ended up kind of just not challenging it and just pitching the lower package, just so he could do it financially, when really I knew that he kind of had the money, but it was just money fear rather than money logistics. So this is why I did this.
So how much it? It's about 105. Wow.
Okay, all good. I know you've been speaking to Alex on the DMs, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had initially I messaged him about, I think he had done a post about his ebook, and that's when I started talking to him, and then he brought up the coaching thing, which is cool. And definitely interested, but like I told him, man, it all comes down to money. That's what it boils down to. Just straight
away in my head there, it's like, it's minimizing language. You're saying, yeah, the coaching would be cool, but it all comes down to money. So that's just basically him coming on the call with that fear straight away. And it's important for us to have the right thought process here as well. Not just, this is where word tracks aren't important. And it's not like, this is why it's important not to just have a script. Because if I hear that at the beginning part of the call, and if I've got a script and I just kind of follow on from my script, that's just going to be gone, and that's going to be the objection that comes at the end. So straight away when I hear that, that's in my head now. I know the type of prospect he is. I know why he's done that, because he wants to minimize this, because he doesn't want to come on and for me to expect that he's going to pay a lot of money at the end of the call, because he's kind of just minimizing that at this point. Of course. Now, Alex didn't bore you too much on the DMs, did he?
No, not at all. I probably left him on read a couple times on accident. So, no, it was good. Great interaction. I eat, sleep, and breathe all his videos. I did watch. It took me a little bit to get to the other videos that y'all sent on the email or the text message. I was trying to watch them.
What's the main thing that's actually stood out to you based on what you have seen from Alex's content?
All the transformations that y'all done, or he's done. I don't know how that works between you two, but his knowledge of I guess you would say the steroids or whatever you want to call it here, and knowing the intricacies. I am a paramedic.
So as you can probably notice, I've not went straight into it. Like, he's just kind of rambling on about quite a lot of stuff now, and I'm kind of just like, I'm trying to cut him off as and when. I don't feel like it's good to, if someone mentions the money, it's not necessarily good to jump straight on that. We want to get data first, and you will see. I'm going to skip it a bit, and you will see how I kind of got that data. If we go to around here.
Why not for you? Man, I've been single for 20 years, and really? Yeah, since 2005 I was in Iraq, and I've never had a problem with women or anything like that. It's a whole other story, but obviously I want to look good, I want to feel good, but there's too many fat firefighters and paramedics and PD and shit like that, and I'm not going to be a part of that. And I finally got my weight down to where it's at. I'm training good. My diet's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good comparatively. And
also, something I've got to point out, and some people might not notice this, but in this moment, right, he's give goals and he's give like reasons that he doesn't want to be fat. But there's a difference between like surface level goals like this and the reason that someone doesn't want to be fat, and then the actual specific reason that they want to take things up a notch. Because he said that he's already at that sort of level, and this is where it's so important for us to listen and actually continue to pull threads to get the actual specific goals rather than just some surface level goals. A lot of people hear that like, oh, I don't want to be a fat paramedic. Like I've been single for 25 years. I just kind of settle with that. But no, like I want to keep going, because there's a difference between what his goals are to not be overweight and then the reason why he would jump on a steroid coaching program.
I've never been coached before, so I don't know I don't know the level that I could get to with somebody coaching me to actually hold me accountable. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, for you now, the fact that you've lost some weight, you're in a good position with the firefighting. You're not necessarily overweight. Now, regarding you wanting to maybe see where you can go to that next level, what is it that's actually driving that now? Considering you're pretty much in a good position with the firefighting.
It's maximizing the stuff that I'm already on and getting the most out of it.
Then now we've got like more of a specific goal, so we're maximizing the stuff that he's already on. And I could have went deeper here and said, okay, like what does you maximizing stuff look like? But this is where I'm coming in, and I'm going to create doubt. So this is like fairly high level stuff with sales, but if you can learn this on your calls, it's going to be so strong. Like if you're on an offer where you see it as maybe a longer term thing, becoming like a product expert as such, you don't even need to be a product expert. You just need to know when you can ask these certain questions that help people realize that they don't actually know a great deal about what it is that they're taking or what it is that they're doing with their fitness, with their nutrition or anything like that. And you'll see how I do that.
Making sure I'm doing it correctly and not harming myself in the meantime, because I am a little bit older starting all this. So I want to make sure that I have somebody tracking that.
So is it right that you're taking test, VAR, and Retta now? Is that right?
That's correct.
And what have you got in place to make sure that the VAR and the Retta aren't actually going against each other in that way, and making sure that you're actually remaining healthy?
So
that question there, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what there is that can be in place to make sure that Retta and VAR don't go against each other. But that's a question that I want to ask, because I know he's not going to know the answer to that. So that's going to help him realize that he doesn't know anything about what he is doing, and that's ultimately going to get rid of the DIY objection. Because also this is where the thought process is so important, because he started the call with a cost objection, that it's going to cost a lot of money. But with the cost, what I can do now is help him realize what the cost can be of him not doing things in the right way with steroids. And this doesn't have to just be steroids. This can be like, let's say, for example, someone comes on a call and they're saying they've got deep pain of not being a role model for the kids. You could easily get that strong pain, that strong goals, and then reframe the cost as, what is the bigger cost? You investing in yourself, or you being in a position where 12 months down the line, you're still not that role model for your kids. So remember, yeah, I'm on a steroid offer, might be slightly different, but the process is still the same. You can still definitely use these things. And that's definitely big that you can use to reframe cost. Yes, Ali?
Would you wait until it becomes an objection? Because if he's stating that it's costly now, he's afraid of cost, like how would you preemptify that objection before it becomes an objection?
So no, I would not wait until it's an objection, because the way I like to close is get rid of any potential objections before the pitch. So the way I did, I'll show you how I did it. But like I said, I mean, of course, some people can't afford everything, although for you, in terms of the cost, what do you feel would be a bigger cost? You maybe investing into yourself, or you going about things in the wrong way with your health, and then ultimately causing yourself a lot of damage. And then he's going to be like, yes, it's going to be causing myself a lot of damage. Because this guy gave objections at the end of the call, but the fact that already reframed that in the discovery, and he'd agreed with that in the discovery, he didn't necessarily have a leg to stand on, and then there was nothing that he could have said that could have made him or me believe that it wasn't just fear at the end of the call.
Right.
Because yeah, like it's always going to be so much stronger to handle objections before the pitch, because then when it comes to the pitch, I mean, when it comes to the objections, it's going to be a lot harder for you to handle those.
Right. So get the data. So because at first, like he said something about the cost, like right when he got in the call. So don't like jump into it right then and there, get the data, and then use it kind of against him, I guess you could say. Yeah. Well, use it for him. I like this. Yeah.
Because we're helping them at the end of the day.
Right.
But yeah, for sure. So like it's going to cause so much friction if you just go into the cost straight away. I've kept that in the back of my mind, put it in the back of my head, and then got data that clearly states how important it is for him to do something like this. I've created the doubt, so there's also like a health cost for what could happen if he didn't do things in the right way. And that's basically the gap stretched there, so that it's literally illogical for him to give a cost objection, because if he continues to go about things in the wrong way here, then he's going to be in a position where he could cost himself a whole lot of money in health bills, because of course over in America you don't have free healthcare. Yeah,
right.
Does that kind of answer your question, Ali?
Yes. Yeah, and I'll see how you handle it as well, because I feel like this is where I do struggle with this.
Yeah, in what way do you struggle with it, do you feel?
I just don't know how to like preemptify the objection before it becomes an objection. Enough.
Yeah.
Like asking the right questions before it becomes an objection.
Yeah, and that'll come for sure. But yeah, it's definitely about just the thought process as well. This is why like I've never followed a script ever. Like even my first few calls, never ever followed a script. Always kind of just like to it's been drilled into me to have a conversation and be present and listen. So in this call, I am very much so listening, and I've got a thought process around it.
And that's where I'm at. You know, making sure. I know I wanted to protect my kidneys, my liver, the liver enzymes, cholesterols, estrogen blockers. That's where I'm at. Fish oils, the CQ10s, vitamins.
Also, from me listening now, I can quite clearly see he's just listed loads of bullshit things that, like, he started saying he was protecting certain things, and then he started listing like supplements and stuff. He's just listing like loads of things that he's heard, in my opinion, like on videos and stuff. He is not educated, but he's just trying to make himself seem more educated, if you know what I mean. And that's why we can't just settle. When I ask one doubt question, we're going to keep asking them. And before I move on with the doubt as well, what I mean by doubt questions is we can ask them a question that helps them realize that they don't know anything about it. So ask them a question that they won't know the answer to about your specific thing that you are selling. And then it helps. I play a little game on my calls where it comes to it, where they have to say, yeah, this is why I need you guys. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm looking for that support. And then I know the DIY objection is solved, the gap's stretched logically, and I can move on to something else. So is it a case that you I mean, it's fine if not, but is it a case you've not necessarily got anything in place to make sure that the balance is good there, and you don't necessarily have what like the Retta going against the VAR, because sometimes they can work against each other?
Correct. And so, you know, how long have you been on for? So the Retta, man, I've been on for, what are we in August? About to be August. Yeah. I started in April. Right. And I was up to 10 milligrams on Retta. Okay. And I backed down because I wasn't seeing any difference in between the two of 10, and now I'm on 5.
Yeah. What that you did see off the Retta, like since you have been using it?
I don't.
Good point, Hannah. This guy from the start of the call, before I even asked him a certain question, he just started kind of rambling on about stuff that didn't really matter. So that's why it is so important to just cut these people off, and just as soon as there's like a slight break in what they say, just jump in there, cut them off. It's not rude, and just guide the conversation in the way that we want to. Does anyone kind of struggle with cutting off or not? Yeah. Does anyone else got the hand up? I can just see Ali.
I feel like I have, but I feel like what you just said is like it's kind of shifting my perspective of like it's actually the kinder thing to cut them off, because like you're the one leading it, you're trying to actually help them. And if you let them like go off and do whatever they want, then like you're not doing your best to help them. Instead of being like, oh, I'm being rude. It's like, no, like I'm here to like keep you on track. I feel like it's like a good mindset shift for me.
100%. And they will respect you a lot more as well. If you just let, like, of course, you're going to have the odd person who comes on and just talks and then still buys. But they are going to respect you a whole lot more if you are the one actually guiding the conversation and you are the one who's maybe cutting them off, holding them to a high standard around things. But it has to start from like the beginning of the call as well. Because if you kind of lose that frame at the very start and then you continue, let me offer an analogy. It might seem like it's a bit of a weird analogy, but one of my friends was like saying like the other day, like let's say you're in a relationship and the person, I don't know, the person's unfaithful to you or something, and you end up staying with them in that relationship. You aren't going to have frame in that full relationship. Like no matter what you do, it's going to be so hard for you to actually gain frame back in that relationship. And it's the same with a sales call. So if someone cuts you off if someone's like rambling on, you're not cutting them off, you're not challenging them on things at the beginning of the call, and then it gets to the end of the call and maybe they give you an objection or something like that, you're not going to have the frame to challenge them then. So that's why it is so important to hold the frame from the start and make sure we do cut them off at times.
Major like the major food, what do you call it, the appetite suppressors. Yeah, it's enough. It's not too much to where I can still eat, but and that's it. And then the weight loss. Pardon me. And the weight loss and being able to maintain the weight that I got down to.
Yeah. And have you had any sort of guidance from anywhere else regarding using the Retta and the VAR in the test or not?
So the Retta has been online. I live on YouTube, man.
All of you can use this question as well. Like this part of the call, you can definitely use it. And I'll
explain why. And I have a general idea about it, and then watching different doctors and taking it easy. I don't go high. Don't start out high. Don't start out low. Talking to different people, bringing it all together, and going at that and seeing the changes. I know I just had blood work done about 3 weeks ago, and I'll get the readings on that tomorrow. It's through Frontline, which we have to do every year for the fire department.
The guys quite a lot. Sometimes people have been looking on YouTube, maybe watching different sort of people online, and a lot of it is conflicting information. I mean, right. For you, the fact that you've been watching lots of different sort of people online who may be giving you lots of different information, what have you got in place to make sure that information isn't necessarily conflicting and you're actually doing things personalized to your situation?
I don't, and I think that's where I'm at.
So then that's basically my little game that I play on my calls done there, because I've got him down to I've broken down with the doubt and found out that he's just going on YouTube, and then from there it's like, what have you got in place to make sure that information is not conflicted? And I guarantee anyone on Fitness Offers who, as someone who's been trying things, they will be saying they just kind of look on YouTube, look on these Instagram pages, and you can ask the question of like, I mean, for you, what have you got in place to make sure that this information isn't actually conflicting and then sending you down the wrong direction? Or what have you got in place to make sure that this information that you're getting off Instagram or YouTube is actually personalized to you and your body and your actual like situation? They're going to be like, oh, well, I don't. That's why I'm here. And then there you go. There's the DIY objection gone. There's the objection of, yeah, I mean, like, it's been a great conversation, but I feel like you've helped me realize I just need to do this on my own or something like that. You're getting rid of that there. And then I'll show you where I go from this to actually reframe the price now, and then we'll jump into a role play.
You said it correctly. I don't. And basically using, as Diago talks about, using yourself as an experiment, especially when it comes to peptides and things of that nature. And obviously, so I worked in the bodybuilding industry when I got out of the Marine Corps. It's a weird story how it happened. And but anyway, so I have people to talk to, but they're obviously on a different level. So, and I'm not trying to be like that. And they've been good about it, but I know
he's just rambling on about loads of shit. He said, I've been in the bodybuilding industry, right? I don't care about that. I don't want to hear about that. So I've went back into the health and safety side of things. Yeah. How important is the health and safety side of things for you? Because I know you've been kind of just watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. I mean, like, how important is that for you?
Well, it's definitely important, man. I mean, especially being older, I have to concern myself with a lot. I feel like probably more things than younger people do. Starting this stuff in their 20s, and so. It's having that guidance in place that, like you said, making sure the Retta and the VAR don't conflict with each other, making sure my estrogen levels are correct, that we're putting that in the correct level, that maybe my diet's not what in the correct tone that I think it should be, or that it should be. Okay, so I got to the right weight now. Now what?
And that's yeah, he said something here. Yeah, he said make sure the Retta and the VAR don't conflict with each other. So that's literally proof that I've literally got in his head from that question. Like, from that doubt question, I've said, what have you got in place to make sure that there's nothing conflicting there? That's got in his head. Like, I love when this happens, because it's happened like on other calls as well, when it just people like say out loud exactly what this has got them to think. So it's literally proof that it works. lot of the time the case, especially with diet and nutrition, with training as well. A lot of people kind of think they're doing things right. They're going to the gym every day when really there's little changes that can be made based on their personal situation. But just off watching YouTube videos, they don't actually get that because it's not actually tailored to their specific situation. So, I mean, for you, and I know you're saying that the health and safety side of things is, of course, is important to you. And I know you also mentioned the cost, which cost, of course, comes into things. Not everyone can afford everything. Although with the cost side of things for you, I mean, can everyone hear, or is my accent maybe like a little bit too quick when it's on 1.4? I'll put it down to 1.2 anyway. If we look at maybe the cost of you continuing to maybe do things without that personalized guidance, what do you feel that could be?
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean? You talking about like long-term damage?
Yeah, so I mean, what like, of course, I don't mean to sound like Captain Obvious, although what do you feel the long-term, or even the short-term cost could be of you continuing to do things without guidance?
Man, you can kill your liver, you can kill your kidneys, you can do damage on weird text. Sorry, man. Damage to your liver, damage to your kidneys. You could do, fuck up your sperm if you want to have kids. And long-term damage, you lose a kidney and you lose a kidney. So it is the long-term on that, and then it could cost you, and I can tell you this as a medic, cost you hundreds of thousands more if you don't. Yeah. So I definitely understand.
I definitely kind of should have went. I don't know if I did, but I should have went. Well, hundreds of, and can you afford to be in a position where you're spending hundreds of thousands? Because then from asking that question, it's like it's literally illogical for him, based on what he's just told me, not what I've told him, what he's just told me, for him to not pay 5K at the end of the call because of the cost. When really, if he continues to do things in the same way, it's going to cost him hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that part.
So yeah, I mean, I get that 100%, and of course, I know the health and safety side of things is something that means a lot to you. So I mean, would it be fair to say that maybe, of course, it's got to work, but like making an investment into yourself with the health and safety side of things, making sure you're doing what you are already doing right, would of course be a good investment to make sure you don't commit any sort of health problems, which is going to cost you a whole lot more.
Yeah, that and wasting money on stuff that you're taking and not getting the best out of it, and getting maximizing it.
So I will stop it there, but like that's basically the main part of the call, because then he said, like, he's agreed with that there. It is fair to say that it would make sense for him to invest so that he actually avoids the health problems and then also maximizes what he's taking as well.